don't have to finish.
Muddy. Muddy.
Feed her muddy. I'm gonna have to give her bath.
She's not gonna hurt this. I'll just put this
She's mother's dog. That's what I got out of the divorce. Their dog.
You're excited? Congratulations.
I'm just Brittany's basket. She tells me where to go.
She's now she knows what they're doing.
Is your mom gonna come have you time off this summer? Or
She's not going to school this summer. I don't know if go with her. You know how big her room is? Big as God and Papa's bathroom.
Is she gonna spend some time down here this summer?
She's gonna try. Yeah, she's just come down here. I know she's going to Royalties for a week. And she's gonna work. So I don't know.
That one?
You guys gotta look. She's so hot. She's so excited to have a yard. She's gonna have a yard to play with.
Drew's basket's so heavy he can hardly carry it.
Well, I took Scout to Cindy's yesterday, and oh, he just had one wonderful time.
You want God to help you, Drew? Oh, we're sitting here talking to this videotaping.
I'm sitting here eating.
Well, Cindy,
You help me
I wonder how much little John Charles was supposed to weigh when he was born.
What do you want me to do?
How much was Heather?
I'm not going to go along with Heather, I know.
Somebody come on.
He'll be bigger. Drew was 8'5".
What you doing?
Well, isn't that
No
good
fun.
He can't carry his own Easter basket?
Here, go get the eggs and bring them in your hands. I'll hold it. Go.
Boy, you got some pretty eggs there, Drew.
Papa colored the Easter eggs. Get that on sound. The eggs. Where's your Easter bunny? Sugar, let's get you on camera. We'll send this to Nanny. Come here. Oh, you want Barbara for that? She wants the cheese.
You know, she knows I'm a dog lover.
Hey, you're telling her you're cheating.
Man, that's close to me said,
I think you hit something by the swing thing over there. Wow.
Heather, come show me your basket. Did you get a lot? Come here.
See, Papa, that
Show me your basket. Come here. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here.
Oh,
Did you get a lot?
whoa.
Let me see. Oh my gosh, Heather. You got a lot.
Here's the broken egg. Watch out for dog poop. Ew, what is that? Tell me.
Film it. Film it.
What is that?
It came out of the egg.
Gross, get away.
Fine.
No, put it on the sidewalk. Go wipe your hands off on the grass. Shuggy.
Hey.
Egg. Come here and eat this.
Come on, girl. Hi, doggy. Hi,
She
doggy.
likes kids. She's a good with kids. Pet her head. Pet her head. Heather, pet Shuggy's head.
Come here, Heather.
Oh, Heather, look.
Heather.
Heather,
Come here.
look.
Heather, come here.
Hurry, run to
Come over
daddy.
here.
Go, go, go.
Throw the frisbee, Heather. Don't pick it up.
Don't pick it up. Heather found him.
Yay, Heather. Pick up the other one.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Joe. There goes John. Hey, Sugar.
Yeah. Here, take the other one, Heather.
I think Sugar ate some of those eggs or
Crap.
something.
Okay, take it to Mama.
Get him down there.
What?
Daddy.
It's dirty. I'm sorry.
She doesn't like it. It's
I
dirty.
didn't find it. I didn't like it.
We need some water. Here, you want me to wash it?
No.
Here, wipe your hands off. Here you go.
We want to hide him with
We're going to hide him at Gigi Mama's too, Brittany.
Mama.
Yeah, change. It's hot.
Well, I told you to change your lid.
You're not gonna name him after him, are you? God. We're out, so he's got it out. So, ooh, look at that sexy thing.
Your mother.
No.
You look better from the front than you do from the rear.
Didn't know
over in Mooney, Mom.
Then check your feet for dog suits, children. Rue, I think you got some of the bottom feet. Get over here.
Maybe all of
Sit
them.
down.
No, I'm gonna get a drink.
John, there's a ball in the garage that's got some air in it, I think. That one doesn't have any air.
She's trying to get a drink.
Go back in the garage and get one. There.
What are you filming that dog for,
That's
Papa?
what I say.
We're going to send it to
Go in
Maddie
the
and then
garage
we'll
and get
wasting
another
pictures.
one. Wait, look.
Hey, Lou, your ball. Call me and Heather.
Here, go get it.
You know what? Aunt Laura wears little.
Did you get them a drink?
Oh, they wanted a ball.
They wanted a
Can I
drink.
go get
She wants a drink.
Can I go get that thing?
Well, come
Can
on.
I go get a ball, bro?
Cowboy boots.
Just stay.
She comes up with plain.
She is.
Brittany, come here. Let me wipe it off.
I drew it one.
Mom, can you explain this?
Big ball.
Papa's unexplained. I gotta go get.
If you walk in front of me again, I'm gonna kick your head off. Anybody ain't got any more sense than that.
How can I get?
Sure?
I gotta
She's gonna get that ball for us. Here, Heather. Come on, here
I have your other sunglasses in my purse, Barbara.
now. Get the ball.
Injun Joe and Tom Sawyer.
You want to slit this fat
Want to
lady's
get even
face
with
back?
the widow Douglas and to get even. He said, you don't kill her. He said, you tie her to the bed and you slit her ears and slit her nose. And these other men said, that must be Indian Joe because white men don't do that. And the only Indians will slit them. He says, if she leaves to death, it's her fault. Oh, that was fun reading that book.
Well, open that big one there. Both of those. Give her that little picture there, Cleo. Give her that little picture I did for her. Right, that little picture.
You made those? It's pretty.
But you set that up in your office.
I won't have an office.
Yeah, right by the person's operating.
Like, wait, serious?
But you look busy. Bring a few kids off the street.
Park cars.
Park cars out front.
Dom's trying to
Come in with all of our sacks. You know, the Chinese people used to come in our office. The whole family would come, and just one of them would have an appointment. They would all come in. They all had a sack, and they all had an umbrella. And the whole family would come.
Aaron,
Sit in the
you
waiting
get your snoot in there again, I'm gonna kick him in.
Yeah. Scoot back just a little bit, honey.
Get back there, Aaron.
Aaron, get back with your head, so Papa, he's
I have
steady
my head
over
in the way, I guess. Closest.
Little midget.
a little bit of steady.
It's a little midget man.
We saw a lot of this stuff.
Oh, why didn't you get some of it?
It's expensive.
I bet it's expensive over there, isn't it? That's where it's made.
Bob,
Be
middle-aged
careful, it's
man.
breakable, Stephanie.
Bob, remember middle-aged man?
How pretty. I thought this was a. Oh, it's beautiful.
What is it?
It's a doctor.
It's a lady
What's
doctor.
in his hair? Oh, it's a gun.
I think it is. It's a thermometer. It does look like me.
Wait, Lucy. Yeah, it does kind of.
This way back she is.
Skinny.
Hey Lloyd,
Uh-huh.
you heard about the doctor that was trying to write a prescription with his thermometer?
No, Barbara.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
See how
You
little
put that in your
her
office
fingers
too,
are?
Stephanie.
Uh-huh.
Is that a thermometer in her
I think
hand?
that's what it is.
Uh-huh.
Did you hear about that, Lloyd?
Huh?
Did you hear about that doctor that was trying to write it?
Did you know that everything's on there?
together, it's a
That you're
sculpture.
saying?
I don't care.
Who needs glass?
You better wait until that's over.
Dry feel.
Over here, let Claire hold it right there and see.
That's something you can have for life.
Papa's gonna get you a case to put it in, like a, glass case that won't get broken.
Did you put all our bad luck
Oh my goodness. See, Stephanie had a thing like that in her pocket with a paper, with a clip on it, her book.
Oh, see it.
Yeah, she's got a book in her pocket. Yeah, and her stethoscope.
Oh, you know what that is?
What's a phone book?
It's either a beeper or ophthalmoscope.
What? That's a beeper, isn't it? Hey, that looks like the floor at Vineyards.
Huh?
I don't know.
Wait, we
I
have to
didn't
read it.
Something.
It's a
Oh,
briefcase.
look.
I refilled when you opened it. Get you one.
Let me
I didn't
see.
see any.
Aaron, step back. honey.
Aaron, get back.
Oh, God. What's your problem? I was just helping her.
Step.
What's the combination? Oh, it came with
Is it gray?
Uh-huh.
Isn't it pretty?
Aaron, get your nose back.
I'm looking at it.
No, you're not. You're
Yes,
trying
I
to get in
am.
the picture.
Oh, bull.
What you needed, huh? I thought about getting you a briefcase. I'm glad they got you one.
Who gave it to you? Oh, yeah.
Leah, Jason, Willie.
What's the
It's got a
combination?
strap, Stephanie. It's make a shoulder bag out of it.
Stephanie, I think you should Oh, okay, just check because if you said a combination, I don't want you to.
See where it hooks on the side there, those little rings?
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
It's got wheels on the bottom, you can drag it.
When it gets real heavy.
Oh, that's nice. Sure is.
Something you can use every day.
Now you look important, Steph, when you carry that around.
You look important.
Yeah, that's right. You have a birthday this month too, don't you? This is some day for
Oh, we
me.
went swimming. Oh, we went
21st.
swimming.
Let's all go sit in the sauna.
Did you find one? You called the desk to see if they had one?
Oh, I don't think it's one anything, but usually it's just a headache when you get in and put on your try.
Is your leg still hurting?
Yeah.
Hey, hey!
be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to this commencement exercise. I am John Ribble, Dean of the University of Texas Medical School at Houston. I welcome you to our 17th graduation ceremony. I have the pleasant task of introducing to you the members of the stage party. To my immediate right is Dr. Edmund D. Pellegrino, Director of the Center for the Advanced Study of Ethics at Georgetown University. Seated next to him is Dr. M. David Lowe, President of the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston. Next is Dr. Frederick R. Lummis, Jr., President of the Harris County Medical Society. Dr. Louis Buchno, Class of 1976, President of the Alumni Association of the Medical School. Dr. Ricky Dale Edwards, Class of 1977, Distinguished Alumnus of the Medical School. Mr. Raymond King, President of the Graduating Class of 1990. On the second row, and to my immediate right, is Dr. Ronald C. Merrill, Associate Dean for Clinical Affairs. Dr. Albert Gunn, Associate Dean for Admissions at the Medical School. Dr. George Stansel, Associate Dean for Education and Research at the school. Dr. Diana A. Redburn, Assistant Dean for Research Training. Dr. James Hefner, Assistant Dean for Clinical Affairs at the Medical School. Seated next is Dr. Sam Nixon, Assistant Dean for Continuing Education. And I would like to indicate that since we had this program made up, Dr. Nixon has been chosen as the President-elect of the Texas Medical Association. Congratulations on that, Sam. And then Dr. Richard Ruiz, who is the Chief Marshal of these ceremonies and Professor and Chairman of the Department of Ophthalmology. At this juncture, I will take a moment to announce the recipients of the John H. Freeman Faculty Teaching Award and the John P. McGovern Award. The Freeman Award is given annually to the outstanding basic science faculty member as chosen by the graduating class. The recipient exemplifies enthusiasm and drive toward effective teaching, personal interest in students' problems and their educational goals, and whose example serves as a high standard for the students. This award was made possible by a gift from the late Mr. Freeman. The 1990 recipient of the John H. Freeman Award is Dr. Harley D. Sybers, Professor of the Department of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine. Dr. Sybers, would you stand? And to tell you how very pleased we are that you have come to see these outstanding young people graduate. You know, they think that they have finished their grading exercises, that they will not be graded any longer. But this morning in the New York Times, there is a front page article that indicates that from henceforth, patients are going to be grading their doctors and deciding about their remuneration based on the grades that they get. So I guess there's just no end to the grading activity that is going to happen. But we know that you will excel in whatever you do, and we're very pleased that you are here in graduation regalia and that we have all your family and friends who have been so important to you in getting you to this stage. You know, times of transition, such as graduation, are frequently marked by ceremony. Ritual can sometimes, better than any words, provide a way to proclaim the meaning of a special occasion. Obviously, we are gathered here at Jones Hall for no ordinary occasion. There's music, there are flowers, grown men and women are dressed up in flowing robes trimmed in bright colors. There's been a parade of sorts, and soon these brand new physicians will profess a formula that has been handed down from doctors to doctors for more than 2,000 years. Sanitized and modernized to remove swearing by Apollo and certain other passages that indicate its origin in ancient Greece, the Hippocratic Oath contains an outline of appropriate conduct for a physician. However, reciting it here is more meaningful as a symbol, a ritual of the continuity of the medical profession and its altruism than for any words which it contains. Ceremony can provide a way to dramatize excitement, anticipation, rejoicing, and relief, as well as sadness and anxiety. For those who graduate, one important part of life is over. Some friendships will end. Youth is slipping away and can't be recaptured. The future, though promising, is still unknown. But mainly, this is a day to take pleasure in the happiness of the occasion. I hope you will use today's commencement exercises to celebrate this important milestone. Applaud the successful achievements of the graduates. Take satisfaction in your role in forming their lives and preparing them for this moment. Send them on their way with great expectations of continued growth and expanded service. I invite you to join with all of us in celebrating this joyful event. At this time, I would like to introduce President David Lowe. It's a very special pleasure to have Dr. Lowe with us today. He was named President of the Health Science Center in October of last year and has already made a firm place in the hearts and minds of all of us at the medical school and the other schools of the Health Science Center. It's been a joy to work with him, and we look forward to a long association between the medical school and the president of the Health Science Center. I'd like to ask Dr. Lowe to bring a message. David?
Dean Ribble, Dr. Pellegrino, honored guests, distinguished faculty, members of the graduating class, family, friends. I bring you greetings from the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston, and of course, some words of advice for the graduates. Can't escape, I'm afraid, at least for the next hour or so. Won't last much longer. My advice is pretty simple. If you look into the future, I think you will agree that one word characterizes it, and that is change. Change is going to come because of tremendous advances in biological and social and technical sciences. Change is going to come because of demographics. By the time you get to be my age, there will be at least a 600% increase in the number of people in this country who are over age 85. Change is going to come because the definition of health is going to be much broader than it is now. There will have been payment reform. There will be a great focus on outcomes, and the Dean has explained one way that that will come about. Your patients are going to be voting for you and your pay. And there will almost certainly be a national health plan of some sort within the next decade. Well, there are ways to deal with all these changes, not just by moving with the change elements, but by shaping them, and shaping them to the right ends. And to that end, and with apologies to Saul Boyarsky, whose ideas I have very carefully plagiarized, I would like to offer a short guide to the perplexed in dealing with the changes that are coming in the future. A 10-point guide that begins with a very simple word: listen. Listen to your patients, listen to their families, listen to the hospital staff, and listen to your colleagues. Listening, not talking, is the basis for rapport. Listen for what was said, listen for what was not said. Listen for what the patient really wanted to say but couldn't, and listen most especially for what the patient really meant to say. Point number 2, remember and never forget what informed consent has come to mean really. It is the patient who is in charge and the doctor who is the servant. That means that you must educate your patient so that they can help you choose the right course for their treatment and their diagnosis. Point number 3, keep up your knowledge and keep up your skills. You must avoid professional obsolescence. Tragically, all that we've taught you in terms of scientific information in the last 4 years is going to be obsolete within the next 4 years. Point number 4, join your local bioethics committee. If there isn't one, form one. No one can play God, but you can't shun responsibility altogether when the situations come, and inevitably they will, that stretch your professional competence to decide. It's much better to hear the nurse's anger, a family member's disagreement, or a colleague's misgivings prospectively in an ethical forum than retrospectively in a court of law. Point number 5, remember that from a medical legal point of view, hospitals are dangerous places. 80% of all lawsuits against doctors originate there. Hospitals need to be made safe, and by that I mean most particularly, they need risk management and quality assurance programs that are effective and functional. Point number 6, keep excellent medical records. Add and expand, but don't alter and don't delete, ever. If you didn't record it, you didn't do it. Point number 7, get involved in society's debates. When physicians do exert leadership, they can be extremely effective in bringing about the right kinds of change. Be a health advocate and be a patient advocate, and get behind those movements that improve access to care or that are focused on other patient or public health needs. Point number 8, remember, you are not a businessman or a businesswoman, no matter what some people would have you believe. You will be as successful as you have any right to be by doing hard work, by going where you're needed, and by truly striving for your patient's satisfaction. Point number 9, learn how to balance the loyalty that you owe to your colleagues with the loyalty we owe to all patients and to society. Do not be afraid to expose poor quality, obsolescence, fraud, venality, or unnecessarily risky practice. The integrity of the profession depends on each and every one of you. And point number 10, and perhaps most important, be compassionate. Don't hesitate to let that compassion show. Remember, the art of medicine is the art of letting your personality interact with the patient's. And remember, too, that compassion alone can often promote healing. If you do follow these few basic principles and apply the skills and knowledge you've learned here at the University of Texas Health Science Center, at Houston, and in your medical school, you will not only survive the coming changes, but you will be happy and you will be successful in a profession and in a society that will both be very much better because you were there.
Thank you very much, David. Probably some of you have heard the expression town-gown conflict, and these are the gowns, and the town has to do with the practicing physicians in the community. And in some communities, there have been some disagreements between town and gown. In our community, I would hasten to say that that is not a problem. There is no place I know of where the practicing community, the organized medicine in the community has been so supportive of medical education at our school and at Baylor. And I want to recognize that, and we are very pleased today to have Dr. Lummis with us, who is the president of the Harris County Medical Society, to bring greetings from that group to the graduating class and to the assembly. Fred?
Thank you, Dr. Gribble. It's my pleasure this morning to bring to you the greetings of the 6,000 physician members of the Harris County Medical Society and to welcome the graduating class to what is frankly a wonderful profession. My mission this morning is to remind you that this profession does not exist in a vacuum, but is part of a vast and intricate matrix that we call society. For the past 4 years, you have lived your lives largely within the walls of institutions, schools, hospitals, and now you will begin to move out into this broader community. And I ask you to examine it. And of course, you know how to examine it. You inspect it, palpate it, percuss it, auscultate it. And having examined it, it is my hope that you will decide to participate in it. This country needs good physicians. This country also needs responsible citizens. I hope you will determine to be both. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lummis. In a school as young as ours, we haven't had a long time to develop traditions, but we're developing one that relates to the award to an outstanding alumnus. This has now gone on for a few years, and we're very pleased today that we are participating in that event once again. The alumni select the person to receive the Distinguished Alumnus Award. And to present the award this year, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Louis Bougenoux, President of the Alumni Association of the Medical School. Dr. Bougenoux.
Thank you, Dean Ribble. Good morning. I would like first to extend a warm welcome to the Alumni Association, to each of the graduates who today become our newest members. The award which I present today is not given on an annual basis, but solely upon the recommendation to your alumni board for outstanding achievement and service by one of our members. When the medical school was founded in the late 60s, early 70s, one of the most important goals was to bring quality medical care to the smaller Texas communities with well-trained family practitioners. This year's recipient graduated in 1977 and trained in residency with the Memorial Hospital, University of Texas Family Practice Program here in Houston. After obtaining board certification, he established a successful practice in Cuero, Texas. There he was instrumental in upgrading the quality of neonatal care delivered in the community. And additionally, his innovative ideas in the field of obstetrical anesthesia have earned him and our Department of Family Practice and Community Medicine a publication in the Journal of the American Board of Family Practice. His work in this field involved the use of morphine sulfate as an intrathecal analgesic for labor pain. After 5 years in Cuero, he has relocated his practice to Grand Prairie, Texas. On behalf of the Alumni Association, I now present the third Distinguished Alumnus Award to Dr. Ricky Dale Edwards from the class of 1977.
Thank you, Dr. Bougenoux. It's certainly an honor for me to receive this award from the Alumni Association, and I wish to thank all those responsible. Also, at this time, I would like to thank the medical school here in Houston for the role it had in my education, both before and after graduation. And especially, I'd like to thank at this time Dr. Harold Pilsner. His role model, his friendship, his encouragement has most influenced me. To which you're doomed to fail. You cannot completely do this all. And as you strive for perfection, you must continue to be realized and be happy with that you've done the best you can. Also, I would advise in our present atmosphere of our reimbursement deficiencies, of our malpractice threats, that each of you strive to place this far down your list of importance, that you not let these things overshadow your patient care. And thirdly, I would ask each of you to always keep an open and inquiring mind, that you neither fear nor ignore research. There's opportunities out there for each of you. The effort that you expend doing this will be richly repaid, both to you and to medicine in general. And lastly, I'd like to wish each of you long and successful careers. I wish each of you the pleasure and rewards that come from caring for those that will. Thank you.
One year at these ceremonies, I forgot the student speaker until the very end. And that, when she got over her anger, she said, "How could you have done that to me?" And I know that each year the president of the class is eager to say something, but there's a little bit of trepidation, I think, in doing that. But this year I'm not going to forget Raymond King, and I'll ask him now to bring greetings from the class. Raymond?
Good morning. It's with great pleasure that I welcome all of you to this grand event, our senior graduation ceremony. It's a date that marks the culmination of 4 years of hard work, dedication, and sacrifice. Before I go on, though, I would like to thank the graduating class of 1990 for allowing me to serve them as their class president these past 4 long years. Also, Mom, Dad, I know you're out there. Thank you for making this moment possible. When I started to write my speech this morning, my first impulse was to go to the nearest bookstore and find as many possible books as I could on public speaking. And I came up with quite an extensive list, and it included such titles such as Power Talk for Physicians by Zig Ziglar, 3,500 Good Quotes for Physicians, or Everything You Always Wanted to Know About Public Speaking But Were Afraid to Ask Your Doctor. And then it dawned on me that these 4 years have trained us to look directly to textbooks whenever we needed the answer to something. For example, if there was a question about a lab value, we would consult a reference text. Or if there was a question about a certain protocol on how to manage a patient, also, we would look that up. But I've realized that the most important things that I've learned these past 4 years is a body of knowledge that can't be found in any books, but it's something that can only be found in the heart and in the experiences of the physician. During our second year of training, we took the Introduction to Clinical Medicines course. It was here that we were able to interview and examine our very first patients. My first patient was a very tall, elderly black woman in her late 70s who was admitted to the hospital for a stroke she had had, which left her with some mild weakness in her legs, and she was thus unable to walk properly without assistance. During my very incomplete and very laborious interview, I was not able to surmise that she couldn't walk without any help. So naturally, when it was time to examine her, I helped her to her feet. She began to sway forwards, and she fell on top of me. Together, we fell onto the bed. The bed, whose wheels were unanchored, began to roll. At this point, I knew I was going to be sued, and I wasn't even a doctor. Well, I moved her to the side, quickly locked the wheels, propped her legs up, and carefully repositioned her as well as I could. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. The nurse peeked her head inside and asked if anything was wrong. Of course, I told her that I was just completing my physical exam. My patient lay there, hyperventilating, and yet she kept that pleasant, trusting smile on her face. It was the kind of smile that a physician often sees from a patient who has entrusted his or her life into the hands of the physician. I think that I can assure everyone today that our clinical skills have improved somewhat since that second year. But I bring that story up to make a point. It's that we, as future physicians, have been given an enormous privilege and an equally enormous responsibility to our patients in fulfilling the obligations of this very intimate relationship, the healing relationship between the physician and the patient. We owe it to our patients and to our profession to be competent in all that we do. I said earlier that the most important knowledge that I've learned has not been learned from any book, because the true knowledge has been learned from my patients. It is the truth found in hearing the first cry of a newborn baby, in holding the hand of a patient slowly dying from cancer, or in shedding tears for that patient you were unable to resuscitate from cardiac arrest. This truth can also be found on those nights you stayed up with that new intern who was struggling busily to keep his patients alive, or from that approving smile you received from an attending physician in response to a job well done, or even in the reward of hearing those words, "Gee, thanks, Doc," for the very first time. Hippocrates has been quoted as saying, "Life is short, the art long, the occasion instant, experiment perilous, decision difficult." But anthropologist and physician Dr. Melvin Konner adds, "And yet healing is possible. Indeed, it is ubiquitous. It goes on in every creature, every day. And among our privileges as the most sentient, most clever creatures on this planet is the ability, occasionally, to perform acts in aid of it. In a spiritual as well as in a technical sense, not just for the sake of healing, but also for the sake of meaning. We would do well to take that privilege seriously. I'd like to take this opportunity now to thank those individuals who have nurtured us intellectually, financially, and emotionally throughout these years. The first group I'd like to recognize are those that have stimulated us intellectually and have served as our role models and mentors. Will the faculty of the medical school please stand, and classmates, let's show them our appreciation. The next group are those individuals who have been so understanding and stood by us through thick and thin. Will the spouses of our graduating class please stand and be recognized? Last but not least, I'd like to thank those persons that are probably beaming with more pride today than anyone else in the auditorium. They're the ones who watched us grow and mature into the physicians that we are today. Would the parents of the graduating class please stand up? Before I close, I want to challenge each and every one of you to become the best physicians you possibly can. And I'd like to be the first ones to say, congratulations, doctors. Thank you.
was saying yesterday that Raymond is a man of many parts, and now we have to add to those other parts the public speaking and the abilities to be a raconteur. Thank you very much. It is an honor for me to introduce to you Dr. Edmund D. Pellegrino, our speaker for today. Dr. Pellegrino was suggested as a speaker by several of our graduating students who are aware of his central role in the development of the study of ethics as it relates to the field of medicine and the care of patients. And I might say also that we felt it was appropriate, inasmuch as we have sent to Washington President Bush, Secretary Baker, and Secretary Mosbacher, that we should get something back from Washington. And we're very pleased that you're bringing us greetings from the Capitol today. Dr. Pellegrino is a native of Newark, New Jersey. He received most of his formal education in New York, graduating summa cum laude from St. John's University and receiving his MD degree from New York University. He is the recipient of more than 30 honorary doctoral degrees and numerous awards. He is a member of professional societies, including the Institute of Medicine of the National Academy of Sciences and the Association of American Physicians. He is the author of several books dealing with the relationship of humanism and philosophy to medical practice. He is the founding editor of the Journal of Medicine and Philosophy and the author of hundreds of journal articles. Dr. Pellegrino has held many prominent academic positions. He has served as professor of medicine and philosophy at several universities. He has chaired the Department of Medicine at the University of Kentucky. He has served as chief executive at the State University of New York at Stony Brook, the University of Tennessee Center for the Health Sciences, and the Yale New Haven Medical Center. He has been president of the Catholic University of America and the director of the Kennedy Institute of Ethics at Georgetown University. Currently, he serves as the John Carroll Professor of Medicine and Medical Humanities and director of the Center for the Advanced Study of Ethics at Georgetown University in Washington. Today, he will speak to us on ethical features of being a physician. Since antiquity, medicine has been concerned about the ways in which physicians conduct their professional and personal lives and how they relate to their patients, their colleagues, and to society as a whole. New occasions, new technology, and increasing complexity of society accentuate today's need for ethical considerations in medical practice. Dr. Pellegrino, a philosopher in his own right, has been a strong leader and an effective proponent of including ethics as a substantial part of medical education. His advocacy has resulted in the addition of this subject into the curriculum of nearly all the medical schools in this country. Dr. Pellegrino has emphasized the importance of ethics as a practical discipline, and that its principles and processes can be taught and learned. He has shown us not to rely totally on benevolent intentions or intuition, but to employ the insights, methods, and rigor of philosophy to grapple with the complex ethical decisions that must be made in the practice of medicine. He has cautioned, and I quote from him, "Courses in ethics cannot close the gap between knowing what is good and doing it. Virtue is acquired by the repeated performance of right and good acts. It is best taught by good examples on the part of those we respect." Dr. Pellegrino has not only demonstrated how to approach ethical problems in scholarly and practical ways, but by his own example, in word and deed, he has shown us the hallmarks of the virtuous man and the good physician. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Pellegrino.
Thank you very much, Dean Riddle, for a courteous and generous introduction and for some more of the warm cordiality I always receive when I come to Texas. I'm pleased to be here again, and especially to speak in this beautiful hall on this magnificent occasion. The only unfair thing about it all is the fact that I had to follow John King, or Mr. King, I don't know if his name is John, I've forgotten now, having an aging cerebrum. But he's a veritable Demosthenes, and so I'm going to try not to do as well as he did, but at least to try to approach his eloquence. You have a great future as a speaker, and I think as a doctor too. I want you all to know that this speech has been censored beforehand so that you're safe. I showed it to my wife just before I left, and with characteristic, kindly acceptance of my fallibilities, I said, "What did you think of it?" She said, "Well, it's okay. But I have a suggestion," she said. "I think you ought to bring the end closer to the beginning." Now, if you don't tell my wife, I'll try to do that. And I will. I put my watch in front of me. Commencement speakers have two obligations. The very first one is pleasant, and I'm going to hasten to do that, and that is to congratulate the graduates on their accomplishment, and also, as has already been done, to congratulate the faculty who hovered over you to make sure that you did in fact work, and to congratulate particularly your families and friends and spouses, all of whom have participated in what I still think is one of the noblest of human achievements, the making of a new doctor. I congratulate you, and I welcome the new class into the profession. And I do it with enthusiasm, despite all of the gloomy portents you've heard a little bit about this morning, and despite the portents you hear sometimes from aging colleagues like me. But 45 years in medicine have not blunted my enthusiasm for the profession or for its practitioners. With all of our faults, and we have them, we're still among few groups in any society that can be depended upon to act in something beside their own self-interest. That assertion brings me directly to the second task, which is the one, of course, that you would prefer we didn't have, the academic obsession with the last penance, namely the commencement address. Your medical school exacts that of you, and you'll notice they bring someone from very, very far away to do it. There must be a certain sense of guilt about it. So I'm your faculty's hitman, and I'll try to be as kind as I can. I can assure you there'll be no permanent damage, because there's a wonderful amnesia that settles in with every commencement address. Even before I stop teaching, you're going to forget my name, and you're going to forget my topic. So I'm relatively safe. But to be serious for a moment, in a few minutes, you will receive your degrees. And that's what everyone came for. This is the university's public declaration that you possess special knowledge. You should be proud of that University of Texas degree. But forgive me if I say it is not sufficient to make you a doctor. You will really enter the profession when you take the oath you've been hearing about. This is your public declaration before everyone here that you will use the knowledge you've been given for the sick and not primarily for your own interests. And it's that particular fact that sets you apart as a true professional. Now, to take an oath is a solemn act. And in the moments remaining before you do so, I want to ask you to reflect on what is behind this oath. Why, for 2,500 years, has our profession been distinguished by practice within an ethical framework? Why do we impose on ourselves a higher set of obligations than most other people? Not because we're better people, there must be some reason for it, and it's not a set of privileges, it's a set of obligations. Now, if you don't take the oath with sincerity, in a few moments, the rest of your professional life is going to be a lie. If you do take it with sincerity, you will also have to give an account someday of your fidelity to its ethical imperatives. For every day in your practice, your human inclinations to power, pleasure, prestige, and profit will tempt you to place self-interest ahead of your primary ethical obligations. It is very easy to lose your way when so many around you are making moral compromises. What I would like to do, to be of some assistance as you think about the oath, is to suggest 6 unchanging realities about being a physician that will be your compass points, your moral compass points. The reminders when you begin to lose your way in these troubled times, when you're confused about what it is you are, whether you are a healer, a technician, a gatekeeper, a bureaucrat, a corporate employee, somebody working for third-party payers, etc., etc., a dozen other roles society is forcing upon us. When that occurs, I would like you to revert at least to some of these compass points. It's my sincere conviction that much of the moral malaise, the loss of enthusiasm and self-worth I see in our profession today is the direct result of failure to take account of these compass points and the meaning of the oath. The first of these points is the fact that we deal with human beings who are dependent, vulnerable, and exploitable. Every one of those words has a significant meaning. The people who seek our help are anxious, in distress, and fearful. To be healed or helped, they're impelled to seek our help. They may wish to avoid that. They would choose not to be sick. The patient is not free to pursue life's other goals until health is restored or symptoms alleviated. On this first point, I would ask yourself daily, am I exploiting this vulnerability for my own benefit? The second compass point is the inherent inequality of that relationship. You possess the knowledge the patient needs. You have the power. You can use it well or poorly, for good or for evil, for service or for self-interest. You can modify, modulate, and manipulate any patient's decision. Every clinician knows that. Ask yourself, will you use that power to impose your values, your estimate of a patient's worth, to impose your social or your political philosophy? The third compass point is the special trust relationship that goes into healing. Patients are ill-equipped to evaluate our competence. They're forced to reveal their intimate selves to us. They bare their bodies, their personal lives, their souls, and their failings to another person who is usually a stranger. They trust us with these invasions of privacy because without trust, it can't be healed or helped. Moreover, we invite their trust. We begin our relationship with the sick person with an invitation. Can I help you? What can I do for you? What's wrong? Implicitly, we're making a promise when we do that, and the promise is, I have the knowledge that you need, but most of all, I will use it in your best interest. Trust me to do so. Will you be faithful to that trust? A trust which is central to all codes of ethical medicine in all times and in all cultures. The fourth compass point is that your knowledge cannot be wholly proprietary. It is knowledge ordained to a practical end, to meeting certain fundamental human needs. It does not exist for its own sake. It is different from scientific knowledge per se. And how did you get that knowledge? You and I got it through a privilege, a sanction of society, which enabled us to enter into the privacy of the care of other human beings so that we might learn. We were permitted to dissect human bodies, to attend and assist at autopsies, to participate in operations, to learn, as you heard from Mr. King, to do that history and that physical examination, which we all know was so cumbersome and so labored in its earliest stages. Society permits this, not primarily so that we can make a living, but because society needs an uninterrupted supply of doctors. From the very first day of medical school, when you accepted the knowledge that was available to you, you entered a covenant with society. The question I would ask here to ask yourself is, will you hold that knowledge in trust for those who need it, or will you dispense it on your own terms for profit? That's a real question today. The fifth compass point is that the physician is the final common pathway through which all help and harm must pass. Nothing happens to a patient without our orders. No policy, no law, no regulation of the third-party payers can be effective without our cooperation. We are the final guardians of the patient's interest, and we are therefore de facto moral accomplices and accessories to whatever happens. Because it is we who write the orders that bring the action to bear on the patient. The question here is, will you do the Pontius Pilate Act and blame others, the third party, the government, the bureaucracy, Washington? Who is responsible? The sixth and the last of the distinguishing characteristics of our relationship is that we are also members of a moral community. When you take that oath, you are entering a moral community. That was emphasized in the original oath. This disappeared somewhat. But the idea that we have a mutual responsibility for each other and a collective responsibility to use the privileges we have within a moral framework. We've been granted a monopoly on medical knowledge. We hold it collectively, but we also hold it individually as members of a special group. We have a responsibility, therefore, for the equitable accessibility, availability, and distribution of medical knowledge. The question here is to ask yourself, will you be, as a physician, a moral island, a law unto yourself, or will you feel a moral sensation, a joining together with your fellows, a need for advocacy for the sick together? These six compass points, vulnerability, inequality, power, the covenant of trust, the non-proprietary nature of medical knowledge, and our role as moral accomplice and members in the community, these are the ineradicable components of the internal morality of medicine, the internal standard. They point to another kind of grading. You heard from the dean that patients may grade us. That's an external standard. The most important standard of all is the internal standard you create for yourself, and if that's a faulty standard, we cannot blame the medical school, society, or anyone else except ourselves. In the current rebirth of medical ethics, we've overemphasized dilemmas, quandaries, puzzles. We've given the impression that ethics consists only in making right decisions in complicated cases. Indeed, it does. But we've ignored the personal ethic of the physician and forgotten that ultimately everything depends upon the physician's character and virtue. Two words we hesitate to talk about today. We blush when we talk about character. But we do need heroes who know something more than analyzing the moral dilemma. It takes more than philosophy, although I teach that subject, or ethics, to dispose us to do what is right and good for a sick person. Sometime in your professional life, perhaps several times, you will be like Dante, the author of the greatest allegorical poem in Western literature, the Divine Comedy, where in the very first line he talks about midway in the journey of my life, found myself in a dark wood, and I had lost the right path. And the whole of that poem is directed toward the recapturing of the correct path through what? Through virtue, through the return and restoration of his own character. You too will have to face yourself in that dark wood to answer where you are, who you are, what you have become. Will you be able to say that you've been a faithful steward? Will you be able to give the right answer to those questions that indicate whether you followed or ignored the moral compass points that underlie the oath you're about to take? I am afraid the answer may come only when you too have the experience of illness and face death. When you are vulnerable, when you're exploitable, and when you have the need of healing. Our profession is indeed in a quandary today. You've heard of all the hostile forces that seem to be acting upon us. Some of us even feel justified in striking back, refusing to care for certain patients, those who can't pay, those who have AIDS, those who abuse themselves. We are not the moral judges of other human beings. We are healers. We take people as they come. But our illness as a profession is an illness from within, and it's curable only from within. Only if we recapture our moral integrity and preserve it throughout our lives and your lives will you experience that joy which comes from the pursuit of something other than self-interest. So the most important prescription, therefore, that I'm suggesting to you, and that's wrapped up in those compass points, is the oldest of all medical prescriptions. You will find it in the Babylonian Talmud, you'll find it in the Gospels, you'll find it in Cicero, you'll find it in Rabelais, you'll find it throughout the world's literature, and it is physician, heal thyself. Those 6 compass points make up the prescription for self-healing. Keep them in mind as you take the oath today. Keep in mind what it is you're committing yourself to. I believe the majority of you will take that oath with sincerity, and I hope that my suggestions, and I'm certain do not blame you if you forget most of them, but maybe at some point you will have a twinge of conscience or recollection and say, I don't know what his name was, I can't remember precisely what he said. It made me a little bit sensitive to what it is to be a physician. Let me now again congratulate you, all of you, welcome you into the profession, and say that I am pleased and delighted and have the greatest of confidence that you will in fact not only recapture but sustain and advance the moral integrity which is the heart of what it is to be a physician. Thank you very much.
Pellegrino, I think you've heard the expression from the audience. I want to thank you not only for what you have told us today, but for what you have meant to the profession of medicine and the reawakening of an interest in ethics as it applies to our profession. And in token of that, I would like to present this small gift to you, appreciation for coming here today and being with us. We're also pleased that Dr. Pellegrino can add Jones Hall to his list of concert appearances. He has recently played Avery Fisher Hall in New York, and next week will be at the Kennedy Center in Washington. So we're pleased that you were able to be with us here today. President Lowe will now confer the degree of Doctor of Medicine upon the candidates for graduation. Will the graduates please rise? President Lowe, on behalf of the faculty of the University of Texas Medical School at Houston, it is my pleasure to certify to you that the candidates who stand before you have successfully completed all academic requirements for the degree Doctor of Medicine.
By the authority vested in the state of Texas and the Board of Regents of the University of Texas System, and delegated by them to me, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree Doctor of Medicine, with all of the rights, honors, and obligations pertaining to that degree. It's now official. Congratulations.
Marshall Brent Lucas. Melissa Renee Ludwig. Paul Allen Stolchi. Jennifer Ann Stone. Susan Ann Stone. James Vernon Stonecipher. Stephanie Lee Strasburger. Anthony Leonard Stewart. Stephanie Lynn Sumner.
Yay!
Brent Anthony Sunderland. Peter N. Tadros. Paul Andrew Tamburo. John Robert Vanderzeel. Kenneth Wayne Vaughn. The third finalist for the Gold-Headed Cane, Kenneth Edmund Bobach. James Lee Vosberg. Thomas John Wagner.
Will the new doctors please rise? Doctors remain standing. I will lead them in the oath of Hippocrates. Will you repeat after me? I do solemnly swear, by whatever I hold most sacred, that I will be loyal to the profession of medicine, and just and generous to its members, that I will lead my life and practice my profession in uprightness and honor, that into whatsoever house I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick to the utmost of my power. Holding myself far aloof from wrong, from corruption, from the tempting of others to vice, that I will exercise my profession solely for the cure of my patients, and will give no drug, perform no operation, for a criminal purpose, even if solicited, far less suggested, that whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of men which is not fitting to be spoken, I will keep inviolably secret. These things do I swear. And now, should I be true to this my oath, may prosperity and good repute be ever mine. The opposite should I prove myself forsworn. This ends the ceremony. Will the audience please remain in the hall until the stage party, the faculty, and the graduates have recessed. Thank you for coming. Once again, congratulations to our new physician.
Put on guard. Still on.